Hello and welcome to another Betfred Sports video right here in the Quest Media Network studio. Peter, happy 2023. Have you enjoyed your break?
Yeah, well, not too bad. Bit of illness in the family, but apart from that, it's been great. Great that the kids have been reintroduced to board games. They're crazy about Scrabble, of all things. We've changed the rules a little bit. You've got to get you going after 2 minutes rather than be hanging around like my mother does, trying to get on triple word scores and the rest of it. So I'm a bit of an expert at that now.
Well, there you go then. Good to get them off their iPads. Well, we will crack on now. There's loads of football to look forward to. There's also been loads of football over the past 7 to 14 days. So let's crack on. On Tuesday night, Manchester United host Bournemouth at Old Trafford. Manchester United 4th. Bournemouth in 15th, and of course, United are on a good run of form at the moment. 3 wins in 3, Burnley, Nottingham Forest and Wolverhampton Wanderers. And you look at the last game, Peter, it was that man Marcus Rashford. You know, he was benched due to internal disciplinary reasons, but he came back with a vengeance and he scored the winning goal.
Yeah, I saw that headline in the Daily Mail. They're absolutely ruthless. They called Calvin Phillips Porky. And then I noticed that Rashford was described as a dozy devil, which is quite a play on Red Devil. He does catch the imagination. But it was great that the manager should take such firm action, and it was great how Rashford responded, not only on the pitch but off it afterwards with his comments saying it's a non-negotiable. He's supposed to be there for 2 meetings, and he accepted his punishment. And then what an answer to score that winner at Wolves. Fantastic. So you say that United are playing Bournemouth Tuesday. Marcus Rashford's 4-1 to go and score the first goal with Betfred. United 1-4 to beat Bournemouth. Bournemouth are the favourites at Betfred for relegation as it happens. They're 10-1 to pull off a shock result at Old Trafford. Bruno Fernandes 6-1, and Garnacho is also 6-1. He's becoming the new cult hero at Old Trafford, behind the talisman Rashford. And then for the Premier League outright, well, United have they're maintaining the position at 50-1 at Betfred to win the Premier League outright. So Arsenal, who remain 7 points clear, they're 5-4 second favourites still. Betfred, like most bookies, are still keeping with City. They're 4-5 now, City. So the odds have been shortened somewhat. But City are 4-5 to win the Premier League. Arsenal 5-4. Liverpool 28-1. Newcastle 33-1. As I say, United 50-1. Spurs 150-1. And Chelsea, who are on the drift now, 250-1. And for relegation, as I mentioned before, Bournemouth are odds on 2-5. Same with Nottingham Forest 4-7. Southampton 10-11. They can't buy a win either. Wolves 5-4. And Betfred have Everton 11-8. Although if they play anything like they did against City the other day, then those odds will be shortened big time for Arsenal to avoid the drop.
Absolutely interesting stuff there. But as Pete just said then, even though Arsenal have opened up a 7-point gap at the top of the table, City still favourites with Betfred, and they return to action on Thursday night with a tough trip to Chelsea. Although you're looking at Chelsea at the moment, not in great form. They're 8th in the table. Peter, you've got to imagine that the pressure could be mounting on their manager, even though he's only been in the job for a couple of months now.
Well, and they're playing City at home on Thursday, as you say. City could be 10 points behind because, of course, Arsenal play Newcastle on Tuesday. That'll be a humdinger of a game. Newcastle, the surprise package this season. So in that Arsenal-Newcastle game, to deal with that one first, we have Arsenal, the favourites, 5-6, being at home. And then Sacco 6-1 to score the first goal. Callum Wilson is 7-1 to score the first goal in that game, and we do think that that's going to be an Arsenal win to put them 10 points clear. The odds might change on who will win the league then. Then we've got Chelsea against City. Well, Chelsea are 4-1. City still odds on to win that, 4-6. I noticed that Pep Guardiola has started hinting a little bit about body language in training. Like they think they've already won it, like they think it's all coming too easily for them. And he's saying he's picking his team based to a degree on the body language of some of his players in training. There is a ridiculous amount of reliance on Haaland, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's like they're waiting for him to come and score. And he lost his rag against Everton, and that will be spotted by every single manager in the Premier League
And
now,
referee.
how to get under his skin. And that's what Everton did. And they riled him, and he didn't have his best performance, although he did score, of course, but that's a given.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, of course, City were held to a 1-1 draw by Everton. That's a great point for Frank Lampard's side. It has damaged City's title hopes, but as we said earlier, City's still the favourites with Betfred to go on and win the Premier League title. Well, tonight, Tuesday night, sorry, it's Monday night. Well, tonight, that of course is Monday night. We've got Liverpool travelling to Brentford. Brentford 10th in the table, doing really well under Thomas Frank. Liverpool 6th, but like I said before, Peter, Liverpool 28-1 to go and win the title. Probably just out of reach now.
Yeah, you shouldn't really rule them out. They're still there or thereabouts. I think they're the most likely behind City, of course, and Arsenal to win the title. 28-1, as you say. They'll probably go and win at Brentford. They've got so much in the locker. You just feel like they're treading water to an extent, and it could all, someone's going to get an hammer in at some point.
Yeah, definitely. Well, there you go then. But looking locally today, we've got loads of non-league action. So in the National League North, Curzon and Ashton make the trip to Southport. Of course, those two sides faced each other on Boxing Day in the reverse fixture. In the NPL Premier Division, we've got Hyde United travelling to Ashton United. Both those sides lost on Boxing Day. And of course, the Robins were hammered 4-0 at FC United of Manchester. We've also got Stalybridge Celtic hosting Liversedge. And in the NPL West, Mosley entertain Ramsbottom United, and Glossop make the trip to Trafford. So, Peter, loads of local action to look forward to. It's always a busy time of year, but these are the games which draw the crowds.
Yeah, they do. It's. I think we should have more games at this time of the year, frankly. I know it seems like they're piling on top of each other. And I think that the various authorities should work closer together and try and get more games in, and more local games as well, so that they can make more money and get people out and about when they've got the time around Christmas. Yeah,
absolutely. So if you do want to look at all those fixtures, they have been uploaded to questmedianetwork.co.uk. Well, we've got quite an interesting category here. Peter, you were telling me before we started recording, you've got a list of what happens first this year. So for instance, for Tyson Fury to be beaten, that's 5-2. So tell us a bit about this category.
Yeah, well, this market is very popular at this time of the year. People start looking ahead, get the sporting calendars out, and Betfred for the leaders in this market. We have Tyson Fury 5-2 to be beaten in a title fight. That's the favourite thing to happen first. What happens first in the year? Then we've got Europe to win the Ryder Cup. That's 7-1. That concludes on 30th of September. England to win the Cricket World Cup, well, the finals on the 26th of March, that's 15-2. A 9-darter in the World Championship final in darts, well, that's not so long off, is it? But a 9-darter would be pretty extraordinary. That's 9-1. St Helens to win the Betfred Super League Grand Final. You have to wait till 14th of October for that. If they did, it'd be 5 times on the bounce. That's a 12-1 shot at Betfred. We've got Ronnie O'Sullivan to win the World Snooker Championships again, that's 14-1. Jake Whiteman to win the World Athletics Championships, 1500 metres, gold medal, that's 18-1. And we've got Haaland to score 35 Premier League goals in the calendar year. Now, that seems like a great bet, but you can't count the ones that it's only just started the year. So he's starting on kind of 1. So he's 22-1 to do that. England to win the Rugby Union World Cup, that's on the 28th of October, the final is, and that's 40-1. Now that's an interesting market, that a lot of people are getting in on that, but it's what happens first. So you can even have a bet on that December the 31st comes round without any of them happening. That's 20-1.
So another big market at Betfred is who will become the next James Bond. Recently, Peter, you were telling me that a former Coronation Street actor who's recently been in Emily in Paris, he's now 12-1. Can you tell us a bit about this?
Yeah, well, this is Burnley-born Lucien Laviscount. Who'd imagine that we'd be saying from Burnley with love? and he's from the famous Lancashire town of Burnley, which not many people know is famous for the Burnley loom, which transformed the cotton industry. That's what it's famous for. And they've produced this superb actor, a 30-year-old called Lucian Lavinscout. He was once in Coronation Street. He was the swimming captain at Weatherfield High swimming team, and he's a big mover in this market, which is very, very popular. We're all on bated breath wondering what's going to happen, and it's going to be an announcement surely this year. It seems to be dragging on forever since Daniel Craig said he was going to knock it on the head and hand in his license to kill. Anyway, Lavinscout, he's shot in from 100 to 1 to 12 to 1 in the last few days. So there's some big bets in and around Lancashire. He's caught the eye of the producer, including Barbara Broccoli, and he's now in at 12 to 1. He's about 10th favourite. He's behind Aaron Taylor Johnson, who's famous for his title role in Kick-Ass, and Henry Cavill, who's a Superman actor, and also that Bridgerton heartthrob, Reece John Page. He's a 3 to 1 shot. So it sounds far-fetched that we should have a Bond from Burnley, but the bottom line is that this guy, well, he's an handsome enough fellow, as you'd imagine. He was a child model. But Burnley also produced Ian McKellen. He was born there, and he is absolute acting royalty.
Sir Ian McKellen.
So that is a clear indication that we could end up with a Bond from Burnley. Anyway, we'll see.
Brilliant stuff. Excellent once again. Well, just to recap, tonight Liverpool make the trip to Brentford in the Premier League. Then on Tuesday night, from a local angle, Manchester United host Bournemouth. And then on Thursday night, Manchester City make the long trip to face Chelsea, of course. Arsenal now have a 7-point gap above Manchester City in the Premier League. Will they recover that City? Who knows? Only time will tell. So if you do fancy a punt on any of these fixtures, Betfred stores are now open, but you can also bet online via their app.